Yo,
little wallet.
this is Gym Crashers. We are live. It's Tuesday night. We come live every Tuesday night, so check us out. We got Mac Performance in the house. We got LeRon in the house.
What up, y'all?
Ready to talk the game with you. What's going on currently in the LA scene, of course, and what's going on in MMA boxing with Mac and the guys. We got a whole bunch of people in here that I just met. Guy with pink hair and a bulletproof wallet. Taekwondo specialist.
Supposed to be red.
Right? Was it red?
It's red,
It's
but
pink,
it washed
bro.
out. Oh, pink though. Pink's of any color.
Real men wear pink, bro.
Exactly.
I'm cool with it.
Bro.
I like it. You know?
You just had a guy that rolled through.
Be proud. That's what I say. Red's cool too, though. Red goes at Ronald McDonald, so pink's better.
I'm like, that's
Gentlemen, bro. Thank you so much. What's going on with you guys?
Thank you for having us, man. Nothing much, you know. Just we're still working, we're still training wherever we can.
It's not that. It wasn't that.
Yeah, man. Just looking forward to a very, very productive year.
It's getting there. Like, they're starting to talk about things opening. We're thinking about live events once again. You know, it's been 1 year, like almost to the day. Right? So things are happening. How's the gym life? You guys good?
Yeah, everything's good. You know, everything's outdoors right now, so we're trying to make the best of it. Yeah, we're just looking forward.
And you're at UFC Rosemead?
Yeah, I also working.
Okay, you're doing your thing with the big dogs.
Yeah. I mean, I train a lot of places, help out a lot of guys. Guys got fights, and I'll help them out. But, you know, we're still staying active, doing the parks, doing some underground locations, you know, just keep it real. And we're making it work.
I dig it. You gotta do what you gotta do in this environment. Hey, brother, you can sit wherever you like. I'd push someone out of the way if I was you. Just knock them right off the chair. Also, the chair. One thing about Mac Performance, they bring the whole crew. Right?
Oh, boy.
They did. Right? Everybody comes up.
I didn't even know existed.
Kinda like
so
that.
right now.
Absolutely.
And you, brother, what's new with you? I haven't seen you in a couple months. What's going on? I see you hitting mitts. You're in the parks. You're at the gym. Keeping busy.
Yeah, man. We're just trying to stay ready. You know, when everything decides to open up, we want to be one of the first people to jump in and take advantage of that opportunity, and really stake our name and realize that there hasn't been a lot of people doing a whole lot of MMA or anything like that. So to be one of the few people that are still doing it and be able to compete and really put our place out there.
That's really cool, and I think things are coming back. We just got back. We just did a jiu-jitsu tournament, our own Gym Crashers tournament in Galveston, Texas, because Texas is wide open. Nobody wears masks. Nobody gives a shit in Texas. Texas is the wild, wild west, and we got a bunch of people out there and did it, and it was live stream. So we dig the live stream action because you don't need an audience. So maybe audiences still aren't coming back, but live stream, we can send that stuff out. So if you guys got ideas, we're always looking to live stream with people, whoever wants to put on an event. So especially if you can find us a warehouse somewhere, and nobody needs to know where. You know, it's one of those things. So things are happening still. But yeah, we dug that. That's why we haven't talked, because we had two back-to-back, January 28th, February 28th. Now we're not even mid-March, like the first week of March. So glad to have you back. Glad to be talking the game with you guys. But you guys were traveling up until the very end of last year.
Yeah.
What's going on now? Any other events, tournaments, or something going on with the team?
Yeah, we have. We were supposed to do Vegas this month, but unfortunately got pushed back to May. So we're looking forward to April. We have April in Texas, and then we have June.
Texas, right?
June in Miami. We have June in Miami. Then,
That'll be nice and not humid.
Yeah.
It's a whole other atmosphere in June in Miami.
June in Miami.
You sweat right out of the shower.
And we got May in Vegas again. So.
Right on. That's good. You got plans. Now, is this kickboxing?
Jiu-jitsu.
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 You guys are jiu-jitsu focused. We're gonna get you on some of our stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
So we got jiu-jitsu, and then we got kickboxing in July in Orlando.
Right on.
So, trying to do a little bit of everything.
Cool. Sounds good. How about you, LeRon? What's up?
Yeah, man. I mean, we were staying active pretty much, man, because me and Dre and Han over there was going out of state competing, because places were still competing out of state. So we went to Philly, we went to
I saw the pictures from Philly.
we went to Texas once, did some stuff, and so we've been staying active, going around, still competing every couple of months. So, you know, we've been doing our thing, waiting for things to fully open back up. Gonna going out of the country doing some things real soon. So
cool.
Just waiting for things to get right so we can get after it.
I like it. And what do you mainly focus on in your instruction? Look at everything.
I'm all over the place, man. I've been striking for like 20 years. I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Yeah, man. I know Eskrima. So I kind of mix everything up in there with them and try to get their basics tight and then have some fun stuff too. You know, try to make it fun while we still kick ass, you know?
I dig that you bring up Eskrima, and I like this because the world of mixed martial arts isn't just limited to Muay Thai, boxing, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu, which are your four dominant
Your four
styles.
Yeah.
But when you're really mixing it up and you're really thinking outside of the box, you've got the sticks, you know, and then they got other things like couple. I know it's a dance, but they're very gymnastic based.
Yeah.
You see a guy flying through the air. Good luck trying to take him down, right? Doing this helicopter thing at you. All the rules are out the window. You know, the timing's different, right?
Yeah.
And some of the traditional martial arts, such as Taekwondo, the karate styles, Kung Fu styles, they're bringing forth some things that maybe hadn't been considered as effective that are.
Yeah.
You know, we're seeing that now because people are digging for new stuff. The only way to stay on top is to be one step ahead, and all of these things have been done.
Yeah.
So I think when you're mixing things up to look back at the more traditional stuff, especially Eskrima and that kind of thing, it's just an extension of the arm.
Yeah.
Right?
It's all the same movements.
Right.
With the stick, without
I
the
need a
stick,
stick
all the
against
same.
him because he got that reach. You know, I ain't got no stick.
Yeah.
I'm a dead man. Right?
Yeah.
See?
So it all works. I mean, when I first started training, I was a way better fighter when I trained Eskrima along with everything else. Like my hand-eye coordination, my timing, my range. It was just better when I trained the sticks.
I like that. I agree with that wholly because there's a perception, there's an understanding of distance, right? And closing the distance,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
The shots are different. Taking people down is different because you know how to stay away too. Is a whole other thing. Yeah, I
Better
dig
to
that.
avoid. I got hit a lot less, you know. So
That's important. That's important. We make fun of Mayweather, but he is alive and kicking with a whole bunch of money, right? And all of his faculties are still there, so you can't make fun of that,
Yeah, sure.
right? It may not be the most exciting fight, but come on. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, yeah. He don't stutter, right? He's still got that whole thing going. He can fight just about anybody he wants to, even at his age right now. So he did something right. So there's something about taking less damage that's important.
Yes, that's what my coach first told me. One of my coaches told me, like, you know, less damage you take, the longer career you're gonna have, and a better career you're gonna have after. You know?
You had a wise coach because so often we hear stand and bang,
Yeah.
right? Go 100%.
Yeah.
There's a lot of damage that occurs with that
Yeah.
early on, and then you're not in the game anymore. You're
Right.
playing golf.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't do it. Your body ain't gonna do it. Not forever.
Right.
Some people. There's some savages out there,
There's
but not
time.
everybody.
There's time to just stand there and bite down on your mouthpiece, but not every single minute of every
Right.
round. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what
So-
you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. And not only the head trauma, but the trauma to the body, the overextension of punches because you're swinging for the fences, all of a sudden you're tearing up your rotator cuff. All those things can happen. So yeah, it's good points. Coming from a guy that's been in the game a long time, so you know.
Wise teacher right here.
Yeah, I think it. So, how did you two hook up? Just so if I can understand better the relationship.
So how it went down, I was, I think it was my senior year in high school. Well, backtrack a little bit before that. So growing up, you know, I always watched fights, mainly boxing. Boxing, my dad, my uncle, every Saturday there's always a fight, right? So grew up watching that. It was always around me. You know, I fell in love with it, but there was never really a way for me to, you know, go through with it. So there was a gym that had opened up in Azusa near where I live, City Otong, and I went there. I checked it out.
Gym.
Yeah, I went there. I checked it out. I started with jiu-jitsu. I really liked it, and then I started getting into the Muay Thai part of it because they specialize in Muay
That's
Thai.
their specialty. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I liked it a lot, but being in high school, you know, I couldn't afford to keep paying my own way, you know, and you know, I unfortunately had to stop, and I thought that was it for me. And then I was going to Citrus College at the time, and then I was taking some sort of unnecessary math class. I forgot what it was, but I was taking it, and there was a guy sitting next to me with his gloves and all that. I asked him, like, hey, dude, you train MMA? And he's like, yeah, man. Where you train at? I train over at the UFC gym in Rosemead. I'm like, oh, shit, okay. And then he kind of told me like how to get there and all that. I went in, I checked it out. I thought it would be a very good investment into myself, and then from there he introduced me to LeBron, and then I just went on from there. Just stayed there ever since.
Sometimes those paths that we cross and look what grows from it. That's kind of how I feel with Robert, man. The way we came together, we kind of been inseparable. So that's what happens when you meet the right people. You're going in the right direction. And Sean's on board with us. You know, we all do our thing together. So I feel you.
Yeah, you know, and I tell them all the time, you know, all this, all the other people that I coach and all that.
I was gonna say, you got a way bigger crowd than we do.
You know,
We don't roll that deep.
this wouldn't be a thing.
young man. Like,
This wouldn't be a thing if it weren't for him. You know,
Yeah.
everything I learned from him, and I try to implement that in everything that I teach them. Because essentially, they're just learning everything that he taught me.
Yeah, that's an honest statement. In fact, I've taught people, and I honestly tell them I just teach them Delo Jiu-Jitsu. You know what I mean? It's just what was taught to me. Respect for my instructors. That's all I know. You know, got stuff from other people along the way, but that's my foundation, my base. You know, that's what I got. And it isn't just jiu-jitsu. He was, you know, around in the early days when striking was all a part of it. So I'm lucky to have that too, which I emphasize for young people, especially if they're in the sport game. You don't want to be the black belt that can't take a punch. You know, and there's a whole breed of them that are coming up in these newer years right now because they're not incorporating that. I mean, although grappling is very important and very, very concise about how to stop someone. People that are trained on both ends, man, you got to know because they may not go to the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, in the past it was, it's going to go to the ground. Well, now we know how not to go to the ground.
Shit, you can run across a D1 wrestler that took boxing.
That's
It ain't
fact.
going to the ground, bro. It's not going there.
That's
Unless
a
he wants
fact.
it to go there.
That's a fact. Yeah, and for the guys that think they're knockout artists, wait till the D1 wrestler puts you in the back.
Yep.
Very quickly. You won't even know it hit you. Yeah.
Wrestling's that glue.
It is. The first time I got Blast Double, I didn't know what it was because I was a jiu-jitsu guy to start with. I'd ask Robert, what happened to me and where am I? No joke. It was at your school, by the way. It was a fact. I went down to Sub Fighter in Beverly Hills. And I stuffed the guy a couple times, but he was a slick wrestler. I knew just enough to stuff a jiu-jitsu guy. And he pulled that out. He was laser quick. And I must have went about 3-4 feet up in the air and then wound up on my back. And I think my lungs had collapsed momentarily. Couldn't take any air. So, yeah, figure that out. You know what I mean? It was one of those days. I mean, I could recover pretty quick, but not fun. It's a great learning for sprawling and using other defenses. Yeah, or even just footwork.
Yeah, change the angle.
Change the angle, footwork, and being alert. And I was already like a blue belt at that time, so it was a time when I thought I had some of those basics, and you really got to go back and rethink those things.
Blue belt's that reality check on
That's
the guys.
fact. All the time. I think you do all the way through. You know what I mean? A
Blue
belt
belts
is
won't take the blood
always because you think you know. You're right. You're right. You're right. I've lessened those opportunities to be happy to me. You know, but choose my partner as well.
Yeah.
You know, my neck can't take it. So how about you, LeRon? You mentioned having a long study of martial arts. Where did that begin with you?
So I was playing, you know, I didn't really do martial arts that much. As a kid, I was always playing soccer or some other sport.
Being a kid,
you know what I'm
man.
saying? You know, I took Kung Fu for like a year, you know what I'm saying? I was like 12 and then tried football and I was done with that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but then after college, I played a little arena football, a little semi-pro, whatever.
That's a big deal. Not everybody gets to do that, so
Yeah,
that's a
true.
pretty big deal.
So I was getting done with that. So I was like, I gotta do something else. You know, I was a communications major. I was like, I'm gonna go to Mount Sac and take some certification course because everybody got to ask me about training. Like, oh man, help me train. I need somebody to train me. I'm like, I don't have no certifications or nothing. So I started taking some
Find out
classes.
we didn't really need that. You already
Yeah.
had it all.
Yeah, so I started taking some classes, and they had like a whole martial arts program at Mount Sac College.
Wow.
Whole thing, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, karate, everything you name, they had it already. So I started taking classes for fun. And then like 3 months later, I'm in a tournament, you know what I'm saying? You know, my coach talked me to a tournament, and I won the tournament, and it's kind of all took off from there. I just started doing more and more. They gotta have a screamer there too, so I did a screamer there too.
Yeah.
So it was like a one-stop shop, and it was affordable for everybody. And a lot of the Millennia guys went there to train with the wrestling team.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so a lot of people trained at Mount Sac back then because the wrestling program's so legit. It was cheap. Everybody kind of knew each other. Javi Vasquez, Batiste, all those guys were there. So kind of went on from there, and then
That's a lot of folks coming out of there. You're right. The Millennia guys are tough too.
yeah.
You know, they put up a lot of tough fighters.
And then I started going to train at Millennia when I turned pro, and it's all just took off from there, man.
That's really cool. That's a cool history to have, you know, to put together like that. I like that. It's kind of a unique way.
Yeah, a lot of these guys come from there, like On goes from outside. It's probably in this room. Oh, no, Steph's definitely in Mount Sac. So she took my jiu-jitsu class, and I'm just sticking with it ever since. So a lot of guys I get are either from there or Laverne, because I teach in Laverne now.
Yeah.
I teach jiu-jitsu at Laverne, I teach jiu-jitsu at Mount Sac, and kickboxing. So I kind of like, I'm the next guy. You know, everybody else went on something else, and now it's me. So I'm just passing that knowledge on to them now, and hopefully they'll take my place in a few years, you know?
It's an interesting thing to be teaching in that perspective versus, you know, at a dojo somewhere. Do people move on after a semester with you, or do they always keep coming back? How does that work?
They'll have like beginner, intermediate, advanced, so you can take it up to like 2-3 times, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And then after that, if you want to keep coming, you fill out a volunteer form.
Oh, got
You
it.
can just volunteer and just get
So it counts as college units.
got some college units.
And then bam, I love this, I love who I'm learning from, so I'm going to sign the waiver and risk my life and continue. Right?
Or I point them out to a school. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll have certain instructors from other schools come in so they can promote their school.
That's cool.
And then they can get students to go to their school.
Nice.
So I do that too. Just to help the community of jiu-jitsu,
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
community of kickboxing, whatever. Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, the fight world, it's a tight-knit group in LA, Riverside, San Bernardino,
Yeah.
Orange County. We all kind of know each other, so it's good to be entwined that way.
Yeah.
You know, and help everybody out. As we know, me and this guy. You know, so that's a cool, colorful way of doing things that I don't think is the most common, obviously.
Right. It's not the most common, but
You know?
it's coming. Like more and more schools are getting into the MMA thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, at least the jiu-jitsu and the kickboxing part. So those are coming along, and if you already got wrestling at your school, I always tell kids, if there's wrestling at your school, take wrestling. Join the wrestling team. You can like get beat up,
Agreed.
but you're gonna beat up some other people that are on the wrestling team. All right.
Yeah. If you don't,
Yeah.
you're at a great disadvantage because that's a great base to come from. You know, as far as understanding distance, takedowns,
Yeah.
control. You know what I mean? Explosiveness,
Yes.
right? All those
trained-
things.
I trained all my wrestling in Mount Sac. I was a grown man, but I wasn't a great takedown artist, but you couldn't take me down because I'm going with these top wrestlers all the time, getting my time down just defense.
Yeah.
I was mainly a striker back then, but it helped a lot just the wrestling.
Oh, I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. Because, yeah, we've been all put up against a boxer here and there. They're just not prepared.
Yeah.
Because you're under the illusion that, yeah, your sport is great. I love the science. The sweet science is what it is. But as soon as you take someone's legs out, you ankle pick them.
Yeah, it's over.
They're not
you don't
ready.
know what you're doing.
They're
it's
not
over.
ready. And the same can be said when you put a Muay Thai guy in front of them.
Yeah.
You're looking up here. You know, it's like, fuck. You're like, where did that come from? Or when they clinch.
Right.
Nobody, you know, if you're training just boxing and that clinch happens, man, that gets dirty and nasty real quick, right? And what happens in there, especially with all that control, and you got a plum on somebody, right?
Yeah.
You know, you learn from Sichidon. I mean, that's their bread and butter,
It's no bueno.
right?
Yeah, if you clench me, I'm taking you down. I ain't got time for that.
Right.
Or all that. You get that close to me, we're going on the ground.
And I often see the defense from grapplers is they're blocking, where I would be coming right up the middle to bust their chops open.
Yeah.
So the defense is wrong. I don't know why they're doing this, because this turns into this, and you bust your own face open real quick,
Yeah, this game's a whole other animal.
right? You get clinched, you better come up the middle real quick, you know, and get some space.
Right.
You're in trouble, because they'll clinch again.
Yeah, clinch game's like if you're on the ground a 50-50. Don't matter if you're the better grappler, so who's better in 50-50.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like clinching. No matter if you're a better striker, who's better
Say
with
goodnight
clinch.
to your ankles.
Yeah.
Or your knees.
Same concept.
Yeah.
Don't play that game. You're not well. You know what I'm saying?
It's a dirty game. That's for sure. But I like it in that, okay, so in the last few years, you bring up a valid point. Ankles were not a part of the game for a long time. I don't know. When you were learning, it probably became something maybe as a purple belt. They weren't teaching white belts.
Yeah, you weren't allowed to go for the legs for like, only thing, and the blue belt's gonna go for a straight ankle lock.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
yes. Just lock that thing up.
That was it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Because like, you're not gonna do, like, you'll feel the pain way before it breaks.
Yeah, and nobody's gonna throw themselves back.
Nobody's going on
right?
that.
Yeah.
But after that, you didn't learn anything twisting until probably brown belt. Anything twisting.
You're absolutely right. And the entries, we didn't even focus on those.
Yeah.
Right?
They would show some escapes, maybe.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
never
that
show
was
you how to do
important.
it. They wouldn't show you how to do it. They show you how to get out of it.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah, and the escapes were different because at that time, especially if your school was more MMA focused, it was, grab the back of the head and punch you in the face. You know what I mean? There's something of that nature.
They're like punch
Push the leg through. You know what I mean? But now the game has changed so much. Every movement's followed by another counter.
Yeah.
So you watch a tournament and everyone's very adept at that next move. Whether it be left, right, come up, whatever it is, these schools are training so in depth with leg locks, ankle locks, knee bars, that it's a sequence of things and they're just, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's a career.
It's a way more dangerous game now. Everybody was scared of striking before, now everybody's scared of the ground.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, get me wrong, everybody gets subbed and just get up and go, oh, it wasn't a big deal.
99% of the time, but some of those things are game changers.
Yeah.
Heel hooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, heel hooks.
Absolutely.
Heel hooks.
Dirty.
They got weird things doing heel hooks out you never seen before. It's like, Jesus.
I know a lot of people that had their knees redone, but getting your ankle redone's a whole different thing. You may not ever put the pressure back on that, so it's a game changer entirely.
I was like, the heel hooks, you'll get the knee, it'll affect the knee.
Oh, yeah, the whole-
Pop the kney,
Oh, yeah.
you get it all.
The
Josh
entire
Johnson's whole
Achilles.
striking game had to change because of his he had
You
I
couldn't
think
place-
a little hole a little one of those metal placements. And when people were asking why didn't you fight in the Gilbert Melendez fight, the second one, why did you throw the same kicks? He said he's like, if I would have thrown hit his elbow, my ankle
Been
fucked.
shattered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
screwed.
I've had 2 knee surgeries, so I know what's up, I was lucky enough to be able to train with a Sambo guy back in my early days, so, they're all about leg lock, so.
Oh,
I was
they're
kinda-
dirty too.
I mean, yeah. But he was like a real nice guy, so he'd be like, hey, don't do that because this could happen. So I was just kind of a little more hip to the game, just because who you were training with,
Yeah.
so. Yeah, it helped me a lot.
Yeah, coming from that side of the world. So when you look at Sambo and the mindset of guys like, what's his name, Gokorchevichian and, more currently the fighters that we saw over the weekend, the guys that come out of those camps over in the Eastern Bloc countries.
Askar.
Yes. I can't say his name, but yes, that guy.
Or
I watched him over the weekend, that guy.
Askarov.
Askar Askarov, there we go. Yeah, we make it sound so easy. I like that.
And he's also he's deaf, so he's the UFC's only Paralympic champion.
So don't verbal tap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. But those guys, and something about in those countries being Sambo focused, it's a military training. It is not just for, the hobby martial artists, the weekend martial artists, the after work martial artists. They're training in the military with Sambo. So they're training to really hurt people. So yeah, and those guys put it on like that.
Yeah.
Tough bastards.
Yeah.
But I dig it. I dig the intensity. It scares the shit out of me, but I dig it. I like to be able to walk. It's one of those things I want to do when I get old, to walk. All the stuff we push our bodies to learn and do as young people, at the end of the day, you just want to be able to walk. Right? Because you can't walk, you're screwed. Right? If somebody gets your Americana real good, you can't wipe your own ass. Good luck to you. I like to wipe my own ass.
The other day.
Right? Ron Kimura, right? Real deep Kimura, forget it. Your best friend better be your best friend. You don't be crusty.
Some fighter's yoga teacher had to tell me train the leg for another day, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, huh?
Yoga it's important because as martial artists, maybe stretching wasn't the first thing on your mind, but stretching is important. And breathing.
Yeah,
Breathing.
completely.
And I still,
could be breathing and the stretching.
I preach all this. I've never done even one class of yoga, but I get it. Like the ideology between controlling your breath, controlling or understanding how your body's going to hyperextend and being prepared for that. Super
Gotta
important.
get your namaste on, John.
I need to.
You're in Zen mode.
Okay? I would say namaste at home. Namaste in bed.
Namaste in class.
But yes, those things are important, and you learn later on because everything doesn't work the same way. But all good, man. So I'm going to let you call this. We're moving up on the clock. We've got 25 people in house. Would you like to bring someone else on? What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's bring the girls on.
Let's bring the girls up.
Yeah.
Come on up, girls. Ladies. I'm sorry.
Your time to share.
We're going to swap up.
Day after International
Thank you,
Women's
Laurent.
Day, too.
Pleasure.
Hey, man.
Pleasure.
Your story's a good one. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. We're good.
Well, he wanted to sound.
Same hood, I remember.
How you guys doing? We met briefly on the stairwell. Take care of our biz.
It's
So
something there. No,
it always does. It's a bathroom, so that stuff does happen. Wasn't me necessarily.
she got a candle.
Bring incense. It'll help. But yes, microphone 6 inches, otherwise it ain't gonna hear you. Just so you know. And your name, dear?
Martina,
Martina. And your name?
Stephanie.
Okay. And what do you do, Martina?
I'm a boxer.
You're a boxer.
Yes.
You train with
Mac.
Matt.
Yeah.
I think I've seen you in
Yeah.
the park hitting Matt's doing the
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
all fast.
That's me all fast.
Right? That's really cool. And then you train with Laurent?
With Coach Laurent, and I got introduced to Mac.
Oh, right on, right on. See, I'm guessing here, but I got it right.
Yeah.
So you're at Mount Sac. Very cool. And you two know each other just through training?
There's your
Training,
training.
yeah.
And have you fought before?
No.
We asked the same thing when camps.
Barely amateur.
No, amateur's good. Amateur's a fight. Don't knock that.
Right. Most sparring with different cities.
Of course, you got to spar. So you've been to other schools, been out to the Maywood, to those guys?
No, it was mostly growing up. So when I was a little younger, and then I.
So your dad raised you right.
It was mostly my brother. You know what? Actually, my mom made me do it because she was kind of like I was getting into fights. She was like, "Oh, you want to fight? Well, let's put you into boxing." She thought it was gonna scare me. It didn't. I fell in love with it, and
Wow.
Evan Hayden, so
I stuck to it.
female
Very cool.
dating, right?
What was your first boxing school?
I boxed out of Morgan Park in Walden Park, right? So I was there pretty much my whole life, and yeah.
That's a cool school. There's plenty of tough people come out of there.
Yeah.
You know. How about you, dear? You just ended up at Mount Sac and just fell in love with LeBron? What happened? He has that effect on people. So whatever he does, I gotta do. Hot chocolate.
No, I definitely respect Coach Laurent as a coach.
No, he's a badass. No two ways about it.
No, but that's why too, because
Oh, yeah,
he's
yeah.
just like so respectful, and it's just like
Oh,
one
I
of those
know.
things where it's
I
like,
joke, but he's a cool dude.
yeah. No, but like too, like as a female, that's part of the reason why I got into martial arts. I mean, I've always wanted to do martial arts since I was a kid. And, I just never got into it. My mom wasn't like that. She was more like, "No, Mija, you're gonna hurt yourself, and I don't want to do all that."
Oh,
stuff.
you're the opposite. They
Yeah,
wanted you to
we
be
were
a
the
girly
opposite.
girl.
I was in
And
cheer
you turned
for
out to be a
years.
killer.
Yeah. So I wanted to, one of my bucket lists is like, okay, well, I want to do martial arts. So I decided to sign up for a summer class, and it was the no-gi jiu-jitsu. So I did that first, and I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. So then they told me like, oh, well, there's also a gi jiu-jitsu. So I was like, all right, perfect, done. So I signed up for the fall. I had Coach Laurent, it's actually his first semester there. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. And then, he told us like, oh, go to competition, you get extra credit, you also learn more.
Wow.
And so also about different places, you want to learn more, come here, whatever, blah, blah. And so I just went. I ran with it. And now a competition's coming up. And I'm pretty excited for that.
Where's it at?
Well, we're going to be to Texas soon. But the Vegas one, that got pushed.
Yeah, everything's been getting pushed, so don't feel bad. Just keep training.
Yeah.
Everything's got a date and then it changes. That's part of COVID right now.
Yeah. So that's
How many years then? You got your first year, 2 years?
2 years.
Pretty
2 years
good.
now. Yeah.
And has Laurent belted you up? You still with your white belt? What do you got?
One strike white belt.
That's cool. No, that's cool. Hey,
Okay.
jiu-jitsu's not easy. It's not supposed to be black belt overnight. It's not one of those schools, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. No.
That's still cool. That's admirable. To get your first strike. Right. Probably felt really good. Especially coming from a tough coach,
Yeah, no.
right?
Yeah,
Because you don't give stripes to everybody.
no, it's I don't know about profanity here, but there's
You
no
can
effing
cuss
around.
all you want. This is not terrestrial TV. You can say the F word.
But that's also too why I like Coach Laurent's coaching, because it's like a no fuckery type of
No
environment.
fuckery. I like that. We need a t-shirt. We need a t-shirt. No fuckery.
Fuckery allowed.
Cool. No fuckery. I would have got kicked out the first day. Full of fuckery. I'm that guy. That's all I do.
around in the gym.
It's cool. That's a good story. I dig it, Stephanie.
Oh, nice.
That's unique, and especially since you learned jiu-jitsu going to college.
Yeah.
That's a whole new thing. I dig that, right? So not only are you dangerous, but you're smart.
Yeah. And good looking, you
It's a
know.
double whammy. Whoa. You heard it from the girl herself. All right.
I was kidding.
I can't say hot chocolate, we're going to say mocha frappuccino.
We're gonna play 2 clips tonight.
2 clips.
One from Subs on the Shore, the last female, because it was
fire it up.
International Women's Day,
Yeah.
and then we didn't get.
Oh, it's International Women's Day.
Yesterday.
play yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. So the
So
day
we're gonna
after.
be playing.
We're getting, well, our show is today, so we're going to honor that with
then-
2 lovely women.
Let's just pretend it's today.
I always
So
do.
since you have,
Today's Mexican International Women's Day. Yesterday was American.
Here we are.
we're always a day late. Okay, here we go.
You better hit play before it goes any further, Robert.
So there's a lot of experience on this mat. So the next match that we are going to have, we're going to see Place of Peace, which is actually a last-minute addition here.
They actually
Versus Will
met each
Sub
other.
for money.
They met each other last night.
I love that story.
They are not teammates. They're all from different places. Kind of piece them together. It's
Sometimes those are the best teams, though. You just get like kind of stuck together, and I absolutely love that. Against a really seasoned team here, I mean, you're going to see Heather Rafferty, Sofia Nordeño, who are no stranger to this stage, have been on here many times before. Actually, we're on the last card as well.
So we're doing our coin toss here. Place of Peace gets to decide. So this is really where the strategy comes in. You know, do you want to choose who goes first? Do you want to make your opposing team choose who goes first? I don't know. What would you decide?
Honestly, like, I think the way my nerves are set up, I just want to get it done. I want to get out there. I love jiu-jitsu the second I get on that stage. So I know
You
there's
wanna go
definitely
first,
got to
be
be
the
some
first,
strategy
yeah.
there, but for me, it's just I want to get out there and get it done.
Well, I think if you're the last person up, there's a lot of extra pressure as well. You're like,
For sure.
all right, getting started.
Sofia Nordeño is one of my favorite female competitors to watch. Always very aggressive, really, really technical.
Exactly
Beautiful
what she's doing now.
guillotine
Yeah,
right there.
attacking that head. She
Wow.
has such a good grip on it.
Nice escape. Excellent.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, wow, Chrissy setting up one of her own there.
Yeah. Such a tight. That dark setup is just looks so strong. I mean, obviously, neither one of the competitors really kind of phased by these. Just trying to be calm and
that's a
think
position
about-
you have to be calm in, absolutely. Sofia looking to take the back there. Beautiful transition. Nice transitioning to a
looking
triangle, maybe a triangle armbar.
Yup. Nice slam.
Slam there by Chrissy, but Sofia with just that
Just-
black belt
yep.
technique there.
Then switching, going for the arm now.
Yeah, Sofia's not letting go of that.
She's got the arm like. through
Chrissy's
the escape,
movement here is excellent.
Putting it behind her shoulder, grabbing that leg.
And here you're just seeing tons of experience. Sofia is a black belt. She's been training for 15 years. And you're seeing 15 years of jiu-jitsu experience right there.
Such a oof. Yeah.
Sofia just shakes her head there like very calm, not too worried about that heel hook.
Letting her corner know I'm good. Yep, coming back up, going for that head. Sofia wants us to let you know that y'all can find her on Instagram, Miss Grappling. A little shout out there for her IG and Facebook.
Sophia loves straight ankle lock. She loves foot lock, so definitely comfortable in these positions. We're seeing here like a little toe hold attempt as well. Chrissy dealing well with it, trying to set up one of her own.
Yeah, Sophia definitely said
She
that's
gets
her
the
favorite.
tap.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, nice.
Such composure there.
You could kind of see towards the end on Chrissy's face, like, you know, that, oh yeah, her foot.
Yeah.
You could tell she.
Excellent.
That was the fastest submission so far of the night. That was not an OT.
Definitely. That's that black belt skill. All right. So next up, we're going to have Heather Rafferty,
And then we'll see who
known as the
is gonna send
Jiu-Jitsu
in.
Gypsy. 12 and a half years of training. Favorite submissions, armbar from crucifix and guillotine.
Gonna go against Joe. So all of the ladies on the Place of Peace team are purple belts. So they're definitely going against, you know, some black belts, brown belts.
Yeah.
Joe.
Nice aggression there by Joe Maisonneuve.
Definitely a lot of trying to keep the pressure down, but also not expose that knee.
Heather has a great guard. Her corner is calling for her to triangle her leg there to kind of deal with that and shut down that.
The ref gonna reset them.
Always a
Oh,
fun
just
position
pull.
to reset. I mean, honestly, that's how you got to do it sometimes.
Yeah, just pull them. It's easier. Rolling through.
See a little
rolling
foot in the
through,
butt
rolling
there.
through.
And she gets the tap. Excellent. Team will sub for money.
Ouch. My ankles hurt. It's painful.
Brother's painful.
I can tell you that, yes, it's a career ender,
But you had
but
nowhere else to go.
tell me about your boxing.
Me?
What is it that you love?
Everything. I don't know. Like about the sport?
About you and your relationship with the sport.
It's gotten me out of a lot of trouble.
Really? I would figure it got you into a lot of trouble.
No, well,
Tell me the other side.
well, because I grew up in a little bit of the hood, so growing up, having a gym to go to after school
Yeah.
was like the best thing I could do because I was getting out of trouble. Like when my friends were like, "Oh, let's go smoke, let's go do this, let's go do that."
Yeah, all that not cool stuff.
I was kind of like,
I don't like that stuff. I
you
really
know,
box. Yeah, you're right.
Don't do drugs, kids.
That's right.
It was just kind of like, I gotta train. I'm gonna get in trouble. My coach is gonna yell at me. I gotta train. You know?
You're dedicated.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
It's very cool. That's a good beginning. But what makes you fall in love with it? Is it the impact? Is it the actual workout? Some people like to get hit. I hear it all the time. I get punched in the face. I don't prefer it.
I think it's what made me fall in love with it. Just
Empowerment.
that. It's just a de-stressor. You go there with all your problems and they're just gone because you're focusing on hitting, focusing on form, focusing on getting better.
I think you hit the nail on the head for all of us. That's exactly it. Because no matter what's going on in your life, once you step into a full contact sport, you have to focus on that sport.
Exactly. There's no room to think about
No,
anything else.
your bills go out the window, your grades go out the window, right?
Yeah, all that.
That's pretty cool, and that really is, because we all want, in some degree, we all want to escape whatever that is, and that's a great way to get away from it. At the same time, it becomes very problem solving, because you have a problem coming right at you in
Exactly.
the shape of a fist. So you have different ways to deal with that problem, but it teaches you
Yeah.
that life is kind of the same way. You're constantly dealing with other kinds of problems
Exactly.
and having to maneuver. Pretty good. I got that just from that little bit you told me.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
good.
Spot on.
Right, Brandon? She got it.
Right.
She gets all shy.
Random.
I think so. No, that was well said. I think that's what you meant too,
Yeah.
without having to give you rocks. You kind of said it that way.
I don't know who's Roxy.
So now, being a young lady and in the boxing world, there's a lot more ladies boxing. There's a lot of competition out there. How do you feel about it?
Get it?
Just, get it? Just go
get
after it?
Yeah,
That's the right way to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be tough because
Yeah.
there's a lot of really good fighters out there, but training and all that.
Is there a particular promotion that you would like to kind of get your start in as an amateur? Obviously not a pro yet. Something out there where you would really like to see? I mean, because I know they're doing stuff at Pico Rivera Sports Arena. How cool would that be? Pico Rivera right there, right?
Of course, yeah.
Right in front of the home audience.
Exactly.
Right? You know the taco guy already. I think that would be cool. We keep it close to home, right?
Yeah.
But then it gets a little crazier because knowing Mac, he might put something together in Mexico. He might put something together in Houston or Philadelphia. You just don't know.
No, he's already.
He's got his eyes on that. I know he does.
He's already every training, every day. He'll be like, "Oh, there's something in Italy. There's something in France. There's something over here." I'm like, "Yo, chill. Let me do something down the street first, you know, like relax."
But he might not be wrong because in the level of teaching that you're getting and the history of what you have, once you put that to the test, you might not have full faith in it at the moment. Once you test yourself, you might realize that they're not ready for you.
No, yeah, I feel it's just because he sees a lot more than
That's what I
can
mean.
see in myself.
And I know he sees what's important.
Yeah.
It's good to have a coach like that that's guiding you that way. She's all shy about it.
You're right. Completely right.
I shouldn't be so nice to your coach, huh?
No.
But I think that's cool because he's building you up. Now, I'm sure he breaks you down and then builds you back up. That's part of the game, right? Every single day. You guys had it 7 days a week?
No. About to be 6 days a week?
Gotta take one day.
Turning it up.
And strictly just boxing? You're working on fitness? You're working on nutrition with Mac? What are you doing? Everything?
All that.
You gotta do it all.
Crossover! Who did I tell you earlier? They're trying to make me
We're waiting for the crossover.
How she goes to watch jiu-jitsu and not do it?
I wanted to see what I was getting into. A lot of tossing.
I bet she knows more than she lets on. Right? Watch that first day. I want to see a camera there.
She pulls out heel hook. She's
I know what she's gonna
She breaks his ACL.
I think personally,
Causing a rush.
if you know LeBron and you obviously know Stephanie and some of the guys here that once you do cross train a little bit, it's just going to be second nature for you. I've seen some boxers come in and they learn jiu-jitsu quicker than a guy off the street. I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's
That was me.
Yeah.
And I was a striker.
I believe it.
Kind
You
of forced me to do jiu-jitsu. And then my first 9 fights were all subs. No for it, man.
It seems like there's no relation, but again, we've had guys come off the street. Takes them a long time to learn. Boxer comes in and he's picking up stuff left and right, and the discipline is already there.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's
and you're a
why.
driller. That's the nature of it. If you're a driller, you're a killer.
Okay.
You know? So that's what it's all about. Just keep drilling. You know?
You guys are convincing me to cross over.
It's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. Hey, I know we got a bunch of dudes in house, so I hate to switch you out for International Women's Day, but
No, it's cool.
love talking to you ladies. Let's get a couple more guys in here. I know we got MMA guy, Taekwondo guy. Oh, these two?
Yeah.
All right. Bulletproof. Come on. Bring them up. I dig it. We got the whole Mac crew. What's up, brother?
Every day this
Your name was?
bigger.
Hi, Luis.
Luis.
I didn't even know.
Joey.
Joey Luis. In Arizona. All right, MMA Joey.
What's the left leg
sir.
version coming
Luis, what you do again?
Oh,
Boxing?
boxing.
Strictly just a boxer?
I used to do MMA.
Your head full.
When I first joined, I did
Let's see.
a
What's the
for a
back
couple of months I did
version
MMA,
coming?
and then after a while,
See
like, I
that.
switched it up to boxing because I wanted to switch it up a bit.
Yeah.
Because I feel more comfortable standing than going on the ground.
You'll always feel that way till you go to the ground, yeah.
Pretty
Sorry,
much.
I don't want to make them all laugh.
I hate it.
I dig the sweet science. But fighting as we know it, especially in the streets even now, there's so many people that have cross-trained and know other things, you're at a disadvantage. And you never want to be at a disadvantage. Not as a fighter. Listen, you want to be ready to go, as my MMA friend here will tell you.
Yes. Yeah, tell me about it.
How about you, man? MMA strictly with LeBron? What are you doing?
So I do
jiu-jitsu with LeBron on on a couple days, and most of the time I'm with Mac. But I was a boxer, and I'm still actually new to jiu-jitsu, and I'm still figuring and finding things out. But for right now, I'm on the sweet spot jiu-jitsu. I find everything fun, even losing.
Yeah, you should. That's a game, right?
Nope,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Losing is learning. Losing is learning.
Yes.
It sounds terrible because people say, "Yeah, I did lose, I learned," but you got to learn. You got to learn not to do it again.
Yes.
Right? Not to be tapped that same way.
Yeah, of course.
But
yeah.
that's cool that you have the right attitude, because the guys that don't learn are the guys with big egos. You know, guys that are muscling their way through stuff. You know.
Guys with big muscles. It's
Wait,
just,
yeah. So the guys you train with, are they your size, different sizes? What are you doing?
I'm kind of one of the smaller guys. Me and actually this guy used to train together. It would be a great competition. You know, I'm only about 5'5", and I just got down to 149 recently. So my weight is kind of matching where my height is supposed to be at.
And mine is not. Otherwise, I would be the same size as you. I think I'll find a happy middle ground.
And it's always cool to fight other bigger guys or smaller guys or people your height. I'll take on any challenge that's really thrown at me.
That's cool.
Let's go from there. Yeah.
Yeah. With boxing, do you find it difficult to be with guys that have a better distance or length of arms and things like that?
Definitely. I was sparring with Mac, and he's got
he's got arms, man, and legs.
And he he's pushing me, and I'm figuring out things like, since I'm shorter,
cut the angle.
You cut angles using my speed, slip those punches, and get in.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Dirty box his ass.
I'm stepping on feet and everything.
Step on the feet, step on the toes.
I have my foot behind his other foot.
Triple.
Nah.
He's already hip to all that stuff, dude. You're in trouble, right? He knows all that dirty stuff.
That's why.
Keeps you on your toes.
Of course. Okay. Oh, whatever. I'll learn.
I like it.
I learn. Yeah.
And then getting back to your game. Did you start with the team here?
I actually first started in Rosemead by myself. UFC Rosemead by myself back in June, before this whole quarantine and everything.
Yeah.
I
Last year.
started going into last year. I was watching fights. I look up to McGregor, Nurmagomedov.
I look up to his bank account.
Oh my God.
Mayweather, Canelo, all those fighters. So I just wanted to try it out. So I just went to UFC, and I was nervous as hell because where do I go from here? Who do I ask? And then I saw Mac, and I asked him yo, this is what I want to be when I'm older. And he's like, all right, let's do it. And I was like, well, shit, like that, just like that.
Yo, damn, do I look that good? He saw that in me too.
Well, basically, I didn't know anything, nothing. My stance was off, everything was off. I didn't know how to throw punches. I didn't know anything. But working with Mac, it was a pretty good experience. My speed got better, my physique got better, oh my God, better.
Your speech got better?
My speech sucks right now. But yeah, I just learned everything under Mac. And it's been a real good feeling working with him.
So you spar with the guys. Have you taken an amateur fight at all? Are you thinking about it?
I recently took in a competition for Muay Thai. I lost, but it's a good learning for me.
Yeah, that's
experience for me.
But
that's the day I realized, okay, I think stand-up is better.
Well,
it's not my thing.
That's no joke, though, to take a Muay Thai competition.
Yeah.
So you're fully padded, headgear, everything?
Yeah, everything was covered, protection.
Okay.
Everything was fine.
So hard to get the clinch, but right?
Yeah.
All those other things that you like to do, so the game's more just combo-based,
pretty much,
closing the space.
Distance, since I'm a short guy, I'm the same height as this guy.
That's what I mean, yeah, for short guys, you gotta do your thing.
I think I'm an inch taller.
Shut up, man.
Not with that pink stuff,
Just
man.
1 inch, alright? But basically...
How did you do? Tell us about your competition. Were you nervous? You got that adrenaline dump?
It was...
Did you go to Thailand for this?
No. I'll die if I go there.
Just making sure. I want to know what else went on in Thailand.
Well, when I first went there, I was pumped. I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually doing something that I want to do. And thanks to the help of Mac, actually being with him, seeing the team grow, is insane.
And you're part of the team, dude.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right?
And back, it was only a good 5 of us. He wasn't even here yet. And
Yeah, you weren't even a part of the team yet, eh?
It's still growing.
We're still growing.
You were back off the 60 in Rosemead, dude. You weren't even part of the team.
I was stuck in
I
traffic.
saw you in
man.
Whittier Narrows, dude. You weren't part of the team. He's fucking with you.
Looking at this room right now and seeing people back then from before the interview before, it's just crazy how far he's come. And he will tell me about it, how you want this. And
He's hungry, dude.
I'm proud of him too.
Yeah.
As much as he's
Oh.
proud of me improving, I'm proud of everybody.
There's a room full of people. There's really cool T-shirts. I got the hoodie and the T-shirt. I'm still trying to lose some weight, so I'll fit in it. But good stuff. I dig it. And
We
you
got
got
lots
the
of sizes.
The sweatshirt. I dig that. Yeah, that was a cool one. But yeah.
During the competition, it was really, really, really.
Yeah, tell me about that. How nerve-wracking. You step up to the ring.
I was excited.
You got that little thing? I like it when they wear the tie,
Nah,
the headband.
No.
I dig it. And they play the Thai music, right? I love all that stuff. You see it in the Smokers back in the day, right? And they play the Thai music. Oh, I love that. That makes you want to do it, right? You're like, oh, okay, I'll go right now. I don't know shit, but I'll go right now. Right? That pumps you up, but it wasn't like that, huh?
Yeah, no, it wasn't like that.
I like those events, so I wish they come back. When that comes back, I'm there every weekend.
Yeah, it's going there, first arriving inside the arena, checking in and everything. I was watching everyone else fight before me, so I'm just like, wow, I'm here. I'm gonna do this. And then as soon as I stepped in that ring, just my whole just dropped.
It's not abnormal.
Yeah, I was really nervous, and I lost, got a beating, but it was my first time. I don't mind taking a loss. I learned from that.
And how many people don't take a beating, right?
Yeah.
It's not called
Not many people can step in the ring.
It's not called winning. Everybody would do it. It's fighting.
Yeah.
You got to get up and fight again. If it was winning, everybody would do it.
Yeah.
Right?
As Rocky
You're not
says-
always going to win.
As Rocky says, how much you keep going forward.
Yeah.
How much you get hit and keep going forward.
Dude, take it from a guy who never really boxed, Rocky. No, I'm kidding. I'm just messing with you. I love Rocky. I love it. We all make references because that's what we grew up watching.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute, Sylvester Stallone never really boxed.
Yeah.
Shadow boxed.
Wait a minute. Something's off.
I know, but hey, if I was Mac, I went to Philadelphia, I'd take a picture of that statue too.
Hey, me too.
Right? He did that. He got all that stuff and a Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah.
He did it right. Lucky bastard did it right. I'm at work and I see on the Instagram Mac getting on a plane, Mac getting off the plane, Mac's in Philadelphia. I'm still at work the same day. He's running around town, getting ready for the tournament, doing his thing. I mean, I'm jealous.
No.
He's living life, dude. He's doing it right.
Yes, sir, man.
Where was your match at? Your
It was in Reno, Nevada.
Oh, that's the one where the whole team went out.
team
went.
And you guys came back with, all kind of wins.
Yeah.
Well, at least the team won.
They
You're part of the team.
Yeah, I'm part of the team.
Or they're going to
too.
leave you at
I
Whittier
was proud
Narrows.
to be a part of that. I was
Yeah.
proud to be a part of it.
It's a team win.
Yeah.
That's cool. No, we talked to Mac right after that, so I liked hearing about that. So that's a big one. To come from LA, to go to Reno, to compete at that level, I could see why you're nervous. You probably didn't even prepare for the elevation, right? You're out of breath.
Yeah.
You got to tell them about that. You got to go to Big Bear next time.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm picking on you.
I've actually never been to
But it is. The elevation's a little different in Reno,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You probably felt like a smoker that day.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah? No, pretty much.
It was hard to breathe. I'm like, and then it went away. Other than that,
All
it was
good.
It was a really fun experience.
Very cool. Very
I was
cool.
happy to be a part of that. Because not many people can go in the ring and do what I did.
There's something cool about going with your team. It's a whole other thing when you go alone, right? But not only is your coach going to back you up, some people don't have coaches, right? I've seen guys just show up,
Yeah,
right?
pretty much.
And they make up some fake name and they go do their thing, get beat up. But you got your whole crew with you. That's got to be a good vibe.
Oh, yeah. It was
You know?
definitely a good feeling.
I like that.
Even I was getting a beating, I was just hear everyone cheering me on, just keep doing my best, just
But is it any different from the beating they put on you?
No.
It wasn't, right? So there's really nothing to worry about because it's what you do all the time.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I try to remind people. It's what you do. It's what you
Yeah.
practice for.
That's what I love doing.
It don't feel any different, right?
Not at all.
It's pretty cool. And then you, man, I got to find out. Have you stepped up to the cage at all?
Yeah. Recently, about a month ago, I was in Naga, El Paso,
Yeah.
and I went alone.
You're brave because Juarez is right there.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah. Have you been to El Paso before?
No, on the 20th last month was my first time.
So when you're getting to El Paso and you look right to your right off the freeway and there's a fence.
Right there downtown. I went
That's
to explore
Juarez.
downtown, and I was like,
If you hear a gunshot, it doesn't have any borders for that gunshot. It'll come your way. Right? It's right there.
Yeah.
We
Could
just
be-
drove through a few times. And I'm like, damn, it's right there. That's close.
El Paso, yeah.
But I dug it. Did you
yeah.
like El Paso?
Yeah, I went. Kind of sucked because everything's still closed. But I went to the.
Because
yeah.
everything was open when we were there. It's crazy.
Whataburger?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Whataburger.
There's still things closed, but
Well, you know what? There was a time when the numbers spiked between the times we were there, and there was like they had dead bodies inside of a bunch of storage units and stuff. So it was kind of going crazy. You probably went at that time.
damn, I didn't see that.
You're braver
just
than us.
exploring downtown.
No, we were through downtown and all that, but there was like we went for a tournament. They shut everything down because the numbers spiked, and there were too many patients for them to handle. And then things went back down, and then we went out again. But you probably went out and it was crazy because it was closed.
Probably, yeah.
So where was your event at?
So it was originally supposed to be at the Coliseum, but they moved it to a high school that was like 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
And very nice high school, but they were rushing. If you're not competing, get out. If you're not a spectator, don't come in.
That's the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
No, they have to be. No spectators and stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, the event was pretty fast. You know, I won one off of points, but I lost the next one off of submission. There's 30 seconds left. He got me an armbar, and
Did they have you all padded up?
No, I entered absolute no-gi.
Oh, that's right. It's Naga. I was thinking it's MMA.
Nah.
Okay, so you're doing Naga. I've done Naga before.
Yeah,
That's a cool event.
I was in the tournament with him at the Muay Thai one in Reno too.
Do you like that?
It was technical bouts.
Yeah, technical bouts. Yeah, it was pretty fun, cool experience. The most nervous I've always been with competitions.
So now you got both behind you. You got a jiu-jitsu tournament, a high-level jiu-jitsu tournament, because people from all over the world come for Naga.
Oh yeah, I've seen people come from like Illinois to like New York even.
Oh,
too.
even out of the country.
That was about a month ago, right?
Yeah, a month ago. Yeah, no, it was
Right
yeah, a
before
month
we
ago.
went.
Yeah.
And then your Reno event was what, October last year?
Yes, October. Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. Because I remember.
You're getting old, man. It's been like 6 months in the game now.
19.
That's old, man.
Yep.
Hello.
You got your time in. No, but that's good. I mean, I love that you did both. What do you prefer after doing a striking event versus a ground event? Or both kind of have their unique thing?
I think they both have the kind of unique thing because with like I was saying about jiu-jitsu, I'm still like loving it, like the new stuff that Laurent's teaching me. And then when it comes to somebody like I've been boxing since I was like 5-6 years old, but when it came to the Muay Thai one, I was just like, oh, many combinations you can add just with a kick. And the guy I was facing was like a whole like foot taller than me. He was still at like 150.
We all have that problem because
Yeah.
they weigh the same, but they're a foot taller.
Yeah.
It's the
But
burritos. We got to cut down on the burritos, bro.
Oh man, it's Taco Tuesday.
Right? That too.
I think it's about even for me, and really just had fun with it.
That's the right attitude. That's how you keep going. If you're not having fun, why are you doing it? Right?
don't, yeah.
Guys with the chip on their shoulder get hurt eventually.
Yeah.
Gotta have fun. Gotta stay loose.
Yeah, of course.
Very cool, man. I like it. I like your guys' story. That's very cool. Now, I know we got a couple more people in house. We're going to go ahead and switch them up real quick, but thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, no problem.
Dig hearing your story. Come back and see me sometime for the next competition. You too, man.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate
Awesome.
you.
Thanks so much.
It's good stuff.
Yes.
Get it. Come on, Doc. What's up? What's up? I only got 2 mics, bro. Unless you can sit on his lap.
Chairs.
Yeah.
We're gonna split the chair in half.
Oh, you guys gonna do that? Okay.
All right, dig it.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I ain't sharing my chair or my microphone. There's still a virus out there. We're all in the same room. It's all good.
Speaking knowledge.
All right, guys. Tell me about yourself. What's your name?
Jason, go by Han, just by the Fight Crew.
What do you do?
I had a background in Taekwondo.
Oh, I called it, dude. I called it,
Only Asians are
dude.
coming in,
No, there's another Asian dude right there. Why you gotta dish your brother? Right? Yeah.
So I used to do a lot of striking when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So like I think when I was like 8 to like 12 or so, I did a little Taekwondo, got my black belt.
Damn, you got that quick?
Yeah, it's Taekwondo's pretty fast. Like,
I better go get one.
Yeah, I mean you basically you almost paid for the belt, but we had a pretty good master, grandmaster, and everything. So we had the old traditional style. For the
Was it traditional Taekwondo or like Tang Soo Do or one of those really hardcore styles? Because there's different styles of Taekwondo. Did you know that? I don't know if you know that.
No, I mean,
There's some styles that really get down, and then there's other styles that are more acrobatic.
yeah. So the new Taekwondo has evolved into like this point system where they
Got
just kind
it.
of flick their legs around.
Got you.
But the way we were taught when I was younger, it would be just all power.
Got it.
We would be taught to go through the back almost. Like, don't aim at the chest, go through the back.
Got it.
But
I could go so many places with that, but there's ladies in here. We'll leave it at that. He put it out there. He put it out there. I only touched a little bit on it. I didn't go right through with it like someone we know. He would have ran with it. We would have got shut down. Thank you for reminding me. I only mentioned it. How about you, homie?
Man, Dre, definitely MMA and freestyle. Me and martial arts in general have had a relationship like boyfriend-girlfriend type thing, you know.
Woo! I like that.
You know, so
where'd that come from?
Honestly, when I was young, my father boxed, my grandfather did judo and boxing, and then I grew up in Southside Pomona, so it happened one of my neighbors was, you know, happened to be Shane's son, Shane Mosley's son.
Wow.
So he, I think the moment I knew I liked combat was we were rough kids.
Sure.
Punched me in the face and I accepted it and I loved it.
Southside Pomona is kind of like that, you know?
Yeah, so.
Isn't that where Pinky's was in next Friday?
Oh, it was supposed to be Rancho Cucamonga, but it was in
Rancho Cucamongas.
Yep, sugar-free, you know, you got above the law, you know. You got a lot of people from there. That's a, you know, famous hometown. So boxing was always around and, you know, I went to Chino Boxing Gym for a bit. Flirted with that for a while, but like Coach Lalonde, you know, I started getting into football, you know, team sports and stuff like that. So
That's good stuff, though. You can't. You know what? There's a lot of good that comes from having those kind of backgrounds, especially from those kind of workouts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It definitely changed the game for me. I mean, I didn't really think that, you know, like I always loved martial arts. I think I was like 7 years old and I watched Enter the Dragon like 6 times in a row one day.
You and me both.
Like, you know what I mean? Like every Bruce Lee movie you could think of, it was just like because I loved his philosophy, and I think just the philosophy of martial arts was always like a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So in the neighborhood, getting that kind of like training, shit, it's like too expensive, you know. So
and Jim Kelly, man, being an African American. Representing a martial art overseas on an island.
Yeah, it's even dope.
In the 70s, I mean, that didn't exist. And all of a sudden, here's this dude.
He just watched Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yes.
Oh, just first time?
Yes.
A little late.
Whoa. The president, it was PG-13? Yeah, Han was the guy.
Yeah, it was like
Han was the Dr. Evil.
I'm like, you know, like, listen here, Mr. Handman. He's like, what? I'm like, bruh, you gotta know this. Like, come on, man.
Mr. Handman. It's freaking funny, dude.
You know?
What did you think of the movie?
It was great. It was good.
I mean, we live it. We live it now with
Yes,
UFC,
sir.
right?
Yes, sir. 100%.
They have Jiu-Jitsu, or no, they have Fight Island. I almost said the wrong one. We have Jiu-Jitsu Island. That's what we call our tournament.
Yep.
But yes, Fight Island. That was the first Fight Island.
Which
right?
is beautiful. I mean, that opening scene in Enter the Dragon alone introduced the whole world of MMA that we know today. I mean, like, you know.
He's talking to his master. Is that the scene you're talking about?
Oh, I'm talking about when that first fight. That first
Oh, the
match.
fight scene. The fight scene. Yes.
Him and, was it Samo?
The opening-
Samo Hung? Him and Samo Young. Like, that scene, you've seen so many different types of styles in that scene.
Yeah.
I think that's what mesmerized me as a kid. Because
Right?
you don't see that.
Yeah.
And it's like, all of a sudden, like, you know, my mom goes to work and, you know, all of a sudden come back and I'm like, oh my God. I want to do everything Bruce Lee was doing, but like philosophically, because it's, what does he say? It says, it doesn't do it. It does it all by itself.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, when you get to that point of just reaction, when you really have such a connection, the spiritual connection with martial arts, I mean, who can really stop you at that point?
I think I should give you my show because this is my full belief is that you can try to muscle your way. You can be a bull in a china shop and break everything in the china shop, but the finesse and the you really become a Jedi. It's truly how I see
Very
it.
true.
At whatever martial art it is, and the art side of it, not the sports side of it, and you develop intuition, instinct, technique, and those things will naturally occur, such as you're saying.
Yeah.
Whether they're striking arts or grappling arts, it
Exactly.
doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter.
You fill the space, right?
Agreed.
It's almost automatic, and you put it so clearly that I had to emphasize that because I think it's overlooked. So I'll let you continue. I love your thought process.
No,
that is the shit. You got that all out of Enter the Dragon. I'm gonna go watch it again tonight.
Just that first opening scene, like from the fight to when he talks to his master right after that, it's a lot of like, I think people really overlooked that part of what he was really trying to get across in that movie alone, because that was not only his first movie where he actually used his actual voice, it wasn't dubbed over.
True.
So he really got to emphasize a lot of his philosophy in that movie alone, and if you didn't catch that, then do you really like martial arts like that? I mean, besides, 36 Chambers, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Dirty.
Didn't that guy squeeze a dude to death? What's that movie?
Oh, where he had him like in a back crack position. He just
Is
squeezed
that
him.
Bolo? Bolo Young?
Bolo.
Bolo Young.
Yeah.
It's not a chiropractor movie.
Now that you're talking, let's get your story, homie.
Oh.
Grab the microphone.
Hello there.
I'm trying to keep 3 going. I got 4 people up here. So
Hey,
you tell
Brandon,
me.
one shout out is good enough. Stop typing under. But my name is Harrison Tian Huang. And I started boxing when I was in college. And, first year, I was born in East Coast. So I went to Penn State. Pretty good boxing program there.
I would imagine.
And they had 300 kids trying out the first year. I tried out, obviously got beat up and failed, because they only were taking about 25 kids, 30 kids per year. So I went to a local boxing gym in the school area, and then trained for a whole year under a boxing coach, and then walked on the team on my junior year. That was my story of boxing. So
you were like the Rudy of boxing.
Yeah, very much.
Right? You were the janitor. You slept there, and bam, they put you on the team.
I cleaned the boxing room for free, coach. Let me spin. Let me train.
I didn't know how to mop till I learned jiu-jitsu. You get a mop? I'm like, mop? Is this a skin color thing? Why I got a mop?
That's hilarious. So after that, after college, I moved over here in California about 5 years ago, and then was a stand-up guy for a while, right? Just doing stand-up.
I love that.
Joined the UFC gym, and then met Coach Laurent, and all the other guys that rode there. It's like, this is a good community, but they're always on the ground, always on the ground. But
from a boxer's perspective, you're like, well, I'm not that kind of guy.
Yeah, I don't, you really don't get down like that.
People think like that, right?
People in my crotch,
lay next to a guy.
Yeah, exactly. Your face in people's private areas.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
Hey, that's
right.
Hey, we can fight, but that's a little too much,
Your
Hey,
breath. I don't want to know what the other end is like.
Exactly. Yeah, you showered this morning or
That's right.
this noon?
You smell like pee-pee.
Exactly. But funny thing is, 2.5 years ago, I went in the class. Brandon at the time said, "Hey, come in. Just come in to try it out." Went and try it out, and then before you know it, that's 2.5 years of jiu-jitsu. Now I got my blue belt. Wow. Before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and been active.
That's a year already, so you're dangerous, right? With Laurent and your striking and your blue belt.
Little blue belt, little stripe going on. Yeah.
I feel you.
So
watch out for Harrison.
Yeah. So but honestly, the journey, the community, the people we meet here, and also the self-development, right? The discipline that carry out through life, right? When you get shit done, you pull out that training regimen out of you, right? I want to go play, but I need to get stuff done. Not just boxing, right? Not just jiu-jitsu, but you carry that on through life.
Wow.
And that's what I love about training. And then, I start eating better because it's like, oh, I'm eating for training.
I gotta learn that one.
Yeah, all that.
I think it's
there
for a bowl of rice, homie.
Carbs is important. Carbs are important. Yeah. So that's pretty much my story in a nutshell.
That's a pretty good story, Harrison.
Yeah. So
you're a badass.
Oh, hey, you too.
Right?
Appreciate it.
No, man, I feel you, man. I don't know how your Asian brother didn't know you were here.
Yeah, I said hello to him too. I came in. He greeted me too, and then just forgot me.
Asian.
Yeah. And then I just joined. I was actually in the tournament, Route 66 at the 10th Planet.
Tell me about that.
Man, I got tapped out like 4 minutes. I'm like,
it's a different game.
Yeah, so let me spin, coach, and then run that back, But that didn't happen. But that was my first one. First tournament.
There's nothing wrong with that, man. That means you started.
Got some jitter out, yeah.
The game is on. Now, our producer's giving me the signal that we got a commercial coming up, and there it is. Who else do we got? That's it?
Okay.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, you're closing out. You can come up. We'll close this out, John. Hey, before I do that, thank you. You played good with my jokes. Brother, man, I got to talk to you more. And you too, man. You guys are amazing. I want to do you guys again. Thank you. Old picture. We saw him with a purple shirt, so.
Facing them, coming up onto the mat,
Yep.
we have, looks like Cristobal is going to be stepping on the mat first. He is a 10th Planet El Paso black belt,
like we
followed
got-
by Ruben Rivera,
Yep.
10th Planet Santa Fe black belt, and Kyle Chambers, unmistakable, is the 10th Planet Freaks from Oceanside.
And the Boogeyman
trains
here to
there with
coach him.
Gio. And Boogie's here, sweet.
Not a bad corner man to come all the way to Houston, take care of the team.
Seriously, that shows some tremendous love when you see the head coach of any academy. You
Sure.
know, they have tons of stuff to do.
And not even specifically any of theirs, but he's still here for them.
Oh, they all cross-train.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. You've seen Sundays at Oceanside? It's 150 deep.
Cool. So it looks like Team Our Life CBD, Kyle Chambers has got the decision, so he chooses to go against Aaron Harris. Aaron has some nasty heel hooks himself, so he's no stranger to avoiding heel hooks. And Kyle Chambers, of course, is going to be looking for some leg locks. So this will be a leg lock battle. We'll see what happens. Kyle, ooh, another incredibly fast decision by Kyle Chambers.
Set up, finish in under 30
Man.
seconds or so. I wonder what
Wow.
the time is on that.
I don't know. It was 10 seconds, maybe.
Kyle Chambers, man,
He's dangerous. He's so dangerous.
his head is so in the game that he just walks up and imposes his will.
So that's 3 points for the submission during regulation.
Yes.
Our team, Our Life, is already way ahead. Team Black Hole, we have Matt Marchese versus Cristobal Chavez. Matt with his distinctive single rash guard, single-armed rash guard. I think that's something he's well known for.
I hadn't noticed that till you brought it up, but you're right.
You
He
didn't
only has one sleeve.
Cristobal immediately dropping for a heel hook, but it looks like that heel's slipping. I don't know if it's Matt stood up. He's going to try to pressure Cristobal down. We're going to hear Matt's corner telling him to watch his legs. But again, Black Hole is no stranger to leg locks, so it's not going to be easy to get a hold of Matt's leg. Matt has Cristobal in his guard. See what he tries to set up here. Cristobal has tough, heavy pressure passing. So I'm not sure if this is a place that Matt really wants to be, but he appears to be attacking or trying to attack that Kimura.
A very different competitor from what he started out with the Rosas brother. When you have Cristobal Chavez, so adept at attacks, this is very different from what he was just showing us earlier. So he's got to employ a whole different strategy against a black belt like Cristobal.
Oh, the heavy, beautiful passing by Cristobal. I mean, that doesn't mean much for a submission tournament, but it does mean a lot if that's where you're getting to get to a submission position. Or just drain your opponent's energy.
I think you talked about it earlier, how heavy he feels when he rolls with you to expose something.
Oh, yeah.
And he's working towards that once again.
Yeah, you don't want to be there. You don't want to be there. You're trying to push, and sometimes maybe you're overreaching when you try to defend, and that's going to open up a submission.
And he finished with an Americana earlier, and he's working for that right arm again. He's working it forward, using his fingers to crawl across the mat to drive it forward.
A little spider walk is what I like to call it. Just spider walking that elbow up. Matt's doing excellent work in recovering that guard. Nice little sweep. So he sits right back down. Cristobal sits.
Like he went for a knee bar momentarily.
Almost. It's kind of it's an interesting hip sweep. Almost off the mat. He
And
gets
got
the
it.
tap. Cristobal gets the tap. The heel hook, correct?
It looked like a heel
Yep,
hook.
it was a heel hook. Right there. So tough, you know, when you're almost off the mat. Like, you got to keep fighting. Keep fighting until the ref tells you to stop. Another 3-point win.
Araby doing the, my little bloody breakdown as usual for this fight night. And we got UFC Fight Night, Leon Edwards versus Bully Bilal Muhammad. Robert, if you want to bring up that fight card for me so our guests can see. We got Darren the Dentist Stewart coming in at this, starting off the card versus Eric Ya Boy Anders, one of the best nicknames in MMA in my opinion. Just one of the funnest. Like, really hearing Bruce Buffer, like, we all know Bruce and his energy he brings in, all like, but just hearing him midway through, ya boy, like, kills me every time, kills me. So Darren the Dentist Stewart, a very good, well-rounded fighter. I'd say most of his best moments within fighting, his strengths especially come from his striking, specifically striking against the cage. You could see that within the Kevin Holland fight. That was a close fight that really could have gone either way, especially for Kevin Holland, who had a monster of a 2020, honestly, in my opinion. Like, between him and Davidson Figueiredo was, like, my fighter of the year, personally, for 2020, especially coming out with, like, I believe 4 or 5 wins. But to have that close of a fight that I really honestly thought Darren, won at certain points, you could honestly make the argument, especially with this ground game, like, he definitely won that at certain points, especially over a Travis Lutter black belt, which is something to be said. If you can get, especially with just the MMA game, the way grappling has evolved now, and like us bringing it up, like, you can do sport jiu-jitsu, you can be a great jiu-jitsu player, be a black belt, but you have to know how to grapple with that cage and how to also attack with that cage. And Darren Stewart does that very well. You see him, he does a lot of work on the cage, and he'll slow down these like middleweight opponents that are these big, tall guys that are very strong guys. And he's not necessarily the biggest guy, I think, at middleweight with at 5'11", and doesn't have the craziest reach, but for his skills and his like whole arsenal, he uses it really, really well. Eric Anders, obviously we know, incredible athlete, former D1 college football player, Alabama championship winner as well. He's going to come in as the more explosive guy. I believe he has 9 knockouts in his for the amount of wins he has, and so he's going to come in, look to be explosive, and look to kind of push the pace and push forward and get the knockout, is what I'm guessing. Personally, I'm going with Darren Stewart on this one, about the fact that he was a little more active, had that really close fight with Kevin Holland, and on top of it, too, beat Maki Pitolo before that fight.
Yeah, that's true.
Very decisively, and I think a second-round submission, I want to say. Eric Anders, we kind of seen, like, as, he's getting older into his career. For middleweights, we can see them kind of go longer, but you kind of see him go a little bit up and down, especially with, you could see, the game plan for his striking, like with that Khalil Roundtree fight, but I think his kickboxing has gotten a lot better. I believe he's putting in a lot of rounds at Classic Fight Team, I want to say. At least I would see him there a lot, with certain guys that I knew who trained there. And so obviously his Muay Thai definitely did get better, especially with kind of the rough kind of up and down he's had. I think this is a fight he can win. But personally, I'm going with more consistency and just the guy more on the rise with a little more, I would say, momentum behind him, and Darren Stewart. But, like I said, with these middleweight fights, this can go either way. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think Darren Stewart definitely has more tools to bring to the fight. Probably has a better chance overall, I think, of different ways of how to end the fight. Me and Eric got the same manager, so I can't really bet against him.
Yeah, well, not a great thing to do on a betting show.
But he's dangerous at what he does, you know what I'm saying? If he can do what he does, then I think he can pull the fight off. But as long as he don't go into that other world of where he's not great at, he can make it a real good fight.
What about Karate Man, Han?
A fight can go any way. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know what tools someone might bring. It might come up out of nowhere. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shock that can happen in a fight. You never know. You really never know.
Can I get a pick out of you, though?
A pick out of me?
We got Mr. Mystery over here. You don't know how fights can go. We don't know. Like, what I'd like to know is, what is your pick for this fight is what I'd really like to know. Darren Stewart versus Eric Anders, my guy.
Darren Stewart.
Who you feeling? You feeling the Dentist or ya boy?
Just go with your boy. Yeah.
You're going with your boy, the better nickname?
I'm going to need to see some clips.
All right. Moving on. Manel Cap versus, we're going to try my best, Matheus Nicolou. I don't know exactly how to pronounce that. He's a Brazilian guy, but I think I did all right. Oh wait, never mind. Matheus Nicolou. That's actually how it should be pronounced. Matheus. Give it a second chance. But Manel Cap, I believe he had just fought, not even I want to say 2 or 3 cards ago, made his UFC debut against Alexander Pantoja. Manel Cap obviously came in with a lot of hype. Former Ryzen flyweight champion, a guy who had beaten Ian McCall, Kyoji Haraguchi, a few other really well-known flyweights, especially coming out fighting in Ryzen, where, in my opinion, if you want to see the best of smaller weight classes, 125 to about 145, it's coming in those kind of Asian promotions that One Championship, Ryzen, that whole area. That's where the best smaller martial artists are, because that's where they've been. They've been there for thousands of years. They developed it, And but Manel Cap, the type of fighter that he is, he has really great, good, well-rounded fighter, but he's definitely looking for the knockout. Really great boxing and boxing footwork. You could definitely see it with that Alexander Pantoja fight, but you could also see him get slowed down a lot in that Alexander Pantoja fight, especially with that low calf kick. And you could see that with these taller fighters now who maybe they're great strikers, they have great angles, and he did have good angles in that fight, and they can definitely cut that angle and use that speed, but you're seeing the low calf kick really change these taller fighters' game plans, because it's almost like it's the perfect attack for a guy who's very movement heavy, very light on his feet. Well, you take my ankle out, I can't put any pressure on that. I'm not going to be able to cut that angle regardless of how much how quick I am, how many times I've drilled it. If I'm damaged, I'm damaged. I'm not going to be able to move. And to me personally, I felt like in that fight, Manel Cap he didn't show off his best of his ability. There was times he was showboating. There was times he wasn't going after it. You could kind of tell, mentally, he thought he was up on the cards when really he wasn't. He needed to put in that more work, and we really could have seen the best. I think seeing a fighter kind of come off of a loss where they don't really show the best of their potential, and I don't think really in the UFC have seen the best of Manel Cap's potential. We know he's a world champion. We know the level of competition he's already faced, especially at flyweight outside of the UFC. So I'm personally going with Manel Cap on this one. I think he's going to be really motivated, especially coming off of that loss with that, with a fight that was close. It was competitive, and there was moments where there's shots he really could have had to even probably end that fight. But, I'm trying my best. Matheus, is a really good, well-rounded fighter. He's got a BJJ black belt and just great boxing skills, really good head movement, really knows how to, again, cut that angle, really knows how to fight. I really hope he looks at that Alexander Pantoja films and really utilizes that leg kick to try and eliminate Manel Cap's, just his movement and his angles. But like I said, from what I've seen, and we all know with striking, it's instinct, it's second reaction. Especially when you're in the fight, you're getting hit, your adrenaline's going. Your mind necessarily isn't going to be there every single moment. Sometimes you're just running off a straight adrenaline and instinct and what you hoped you've been drilling and training 1,000 hours. And so when I see a guy who's more of that switch stance style, unless he's coming in with a specific part of his game plan, I don't see him using that, so I'm going with Manel Cap on this one. I think he's going to use his boxing and his footwork to really get it done. And he's either going to get it done with either a third round KO, TKO, or I say a decision.
Yeah, I agree. Manel Cap's probably going to come in a hungrier dog. I think he has more to lose in this fight.
Yeah, so he's also the minus 150 favorite versus, Matheus is plus 120 underdog. Matheus, is still on the come up, and I believe this is his second run within the UFC. So there's not as much for him to lose with Manel Cap coming in with that extra pressure and that extra kind of well-known name being a former champion.
Yeah. I'm with you on Cap.
I'm going.
Yep, I'm going with Cap.
Sounds pretty good.
You taking me? All right, I got Karate Han with me on Cap. I finally got a pick out of him, guys. Finally. I didn't even have to encourage him. He just went for it. Unless he slips up and I'm full of shit and I'm wrong, But moving on, Angela Hill coming in at a minus 380 favorite versus Ashley Yoder, who's coming in at a plus 290 underdog. Ashley Yoder, who's done a little bit better in the UFC than we would have thought of. A good, well-rounded fighter. Beating some names that definitely probably stuck around longer than like certain people thought she was gonna, and like definitely had some decent fights, especially within that division. But Angela Hill has just been on a tear.
Yeah, she's just been going.
And what's crazy about Angela Hill is she didn't start martial arts or like really any fitness until college. Until her, like into her like I believe early 20s. I want to say, I think she just like in college walked into a Muay Thai class just to try it out for one time, and then fell into a whole career of fighting. So. And we see this especially, I think, with fighters, who maybe start later on or just in general, when you kind of hit that 10-year mark, that's when I think everything really starts to come together, especially for MMA, by the fact that there is so many elements in it. And it's one of the few sports that's other sports combined into one. What other sport do you find where you can go take the elements of each part of it and go compete an entire whole sport division for it? And so we've seen her, especially with her grappling and her takedown defense. Angela Hill's really come into her own, especially with like where she's aware of where her hips are at all times. Being able to keep up and have a really close fight with one of the top grapplers in Claudia Gadelha and keep standing, especially as a natural born, not as a not natural born grappler, as somebody who had to learn the wrestling, who had to learn the jiu-jitsu, had to learn that aspect. To stay standing against somebody who's been doing it since they were young is an incredible feat. It really goes to show that she's really coming into her own, I think, takedown defense-wise and grappling-wise, and is really finding, I would say, a new confidence within it. And on top of it, too, she had a really close fight against Michelle Watterson, one of the top strikers in the division. Somebody who's been, I think, a pioneer in women's MMA for a long, long time, and a former, one of the first, atomweight champions, I believe. And especially to fight somebody with that kind of, I'm sure my man knows this, that awkward karate style, that can just, completely throw off somebody's game, especially if you're more of a traditional kind of Muay Thai person and you're just not used to those odd angles that kicks could be coming out with side kicks, and just also the way Michelle Watterson uses range and her technique, and the fact that also she's a high-level grappler herself. Michelle Watterson definitely knows what to do on the ground with the much experience that she does. I really like momentum, and I really like when a fighter just really is coming into their own and has confidence in their own abilities. So I'm going with Angela Hill on this one. Ashley Yoder can get the fight done, especially with her having a 5-inch reach advantage and being a boxing-heavy style, with also, I would say, decent grappling skills, enough to get it done. But this is also a rematch as well, so I'm taking Angela Hill on this one. I'm taking momentum, and I'm taking confidence on this one.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Angela Hill, I think, is the better athlete, too, flat out. And I think she'll push it and take the fight to where she wants to take the fight. I mean, I respect Yoder a lot, but I think Angela Hill has this one in the bag.
All right.
100%.
Karate Man, huh?
Angela Hill. Because, you could have the reach advantage. You could be the powerhouse. You could have all the tools, but if you don't have that creativity and you can't get that spark off, and as she did with Michelle Watterson fight, right? With that, then she's looking good right now at this point.
All right, and then moving on, we got a featherweight matchup with the Fighting Hawaiian Dan Ige versus Gavin Tucker. A fight I'm pretty excited for. A fight I think that's not on many people's radar. Not too many people know of Gavin Tucker. A lot more people should know of Gavin Tucker, guys. Let me tell you what. I would say Tucker is a good, well-rounded fighter, especially with his head kick setup. I believe he's on a two-fight, into his UFC career, two-fight run, and just beat, I believe, Justin James, and before that, I can't remember exactly who he beat before that, but it was definitely a good, high-level guy. But Gavin Tucker, as well, I really like his head kick setups, by the fact that also as well, he has a good fight IQ. He has a decent amount of submission wins, as he does, with decisions, and as well as, a few TKOs and knockouts. And we'll see him, he's always comfortable where the fight goes, and you'll see him, he'll throw 1-2, move out of the way, set up something else for whether it be the uppercut, or he's ready to go to the ground with you, which is something I really enjoy seeing for a fighter in MMA. You see a lot of guys, especially within MMA, and especially when they're coming up, where they'll get complacent in their own style that they may have grown up with, or that they're really used to going. But what I like out of Gavin Tucker is that he's always surprising us with the different tools that he's using and different, where the fight goes. And by the fact that you could tell he has a high fight IQ by his comfortability of where the fight goes. You take him down. All right, I'll play the guard game and find a way to submit you. He takes you down. Okay, I'll find your back and submit you and get a rear naked choke. And then also on top of it too, keep an amazing body lock. And but then, okay, you want to keep it standing? Okay, I'll use good footwork to set up my kicks and my angles, and then also use enough boxing and dirty boxing to get out of trouble. But with Dan Ige as well, incredibly talented fighter. A guy, like we said, Hawaiians just know how to fight. There's something in their blood. Robert, like, you can tell me about this. So what is it about Hawaiians and fighting that they just know how to do it so well? Like
5-to-1 female to male ratio. Male to female ratio.
5-to-1 female to male ratio. So it's just there's not enough women.
It's the same for a lot of warmer climate places, and I think it's innate that they don't even realize it, but they're all always competing for just nature. 5-to-1? Yeah, that's so stupid number.
So basically, they're good at fighting because there's not enough women. All right, I did not know this. Like, apparently, if Hawaiians were getting more laid, they'd be more at peace somehow. But I've seen Dan Ige, even though, it's also more impressive, I believe, Dan Ige has a fiance as well and still able to fight at such a high level. While still in a committed relationship, my guy is still at a UFC level. Like, this is just goes to speak even more to Dan Ige's incredible talents. But Dan Ige as well, good, well-rounded fighter. Actually, a BJJ black belt, which is, to me, almost like as good as it is on paper to be BJJ black belt, especially as an MMA fighter. But when you don't really show off those skills in fights, can get a little bit alarming for me personally. Because that goes to show you're not necessarily showing every skill you have in a fight. So that, there's certain things that we've seen with Dan Ige, especially in the Calvin Kattar fight, where he'll slow down a little bit. He's an explosive athlete. He's a decent sized 45er. He's not the biggest 45er, but he's not small. Muscular wise, he's got some decent muscle tone and definitely muscle mass on him. So you could see that with those fights, with those big shots and those big power shots he'll use to set up and just pressure somebody down. I'm just lisping on today, and but. To set up those bigger shots with Dan Ige, moving forward, trying to pressure his opponents, he really tries to mentally break his opponents. He has decent power, not the craziest power, but where he really tries to get them is in those uncomfortable spots. Dan Ige is comfortable being uncomfortable. He has good cardio. We know he's also, I believe, even during the pandemic, he got into mountain biking, I want to say. So, and we've seen athletes, I can tell you personally from a guy who just has to bike to get around everywhere, your cardio gets real good when you start biking miles and miles and miles. And on top of it too, we've really seen Dan Ige, I think, really kind of, with that Extreme Couture camp in general, really kind of get back to that, wrestling at WrestleBox style. Really kind of put in that time, that effort on the ground, and the, putting in that wrestling rounds. Which where you see, even a lot of jiu-jitsu and grappler guys, it's not fun to go up against the kid, shoot, like, to drill the same single and double leg and the same get-ups and the same setups over and over again. That's where that's where jiu-jitsu is more fun. You get more creativity. In wrestling, it's a grind. You got to grind it out. You got to build your cardio. You got to mentally be there. And like I said, we've seen Dan Ige, there's a reason he's a minus 135 favorite versus Gavin Tucker. Personally, though, we've seen Dan Ige, like I said, like, he's getting not complacent, but we've seen him get a little bit overexcited in fights, and we've seen him kind of, blow out his gas tanks, within those first couple of rounds. And for a guy like Gavin Tucker, who's going to be there, especially in those later rounds, and is comfortable in, like, many different parts of the fights, I don't know. I really like that underdog bet, so I'm going Gavin Tucker. But personally, I think this might be the fight of the night.
Yeah, I like Ige. He always brings it. He has exciting fights. But Tucker, man, he's a slick dude.
Yeah.
So I think.
And we also don't know Tucker's relationship status as well. So, he could be single and coming in with a lot of anger, guys. Like, that extra testosterone really makes a difference for certain fighters.
But for sure, man, it's definitely going to probably be a fight of the night, at least a candidate, because both these guys bring it. I've never seen a boring fight from either of these guys.
Yeah.
I know, but I think Tucker's just slicker, like you said.
Yeah.
He's got a higher fight IQ.
Yeah.
Just a chess piece ahead.
Definitely like a fight of raw talent versus technical skill.
Yeah.
Definitely also with him being the older fighter.
Right. So
Karate Man Han. Taekwondo Man Han.
Dan, you were and
Tucker.
Gavin
Yeah,
Tucker.
so I would agree with that. So Tucker is a more technical fighter, right? You said.
I would say so.
Yeah, I would definitely say so.
So when it comes to that, and someone who could just outlast, I mean, it sounds like it's gonna be a pretty good fight of the night pick. But if you could just outlast, but you have no tools to work with, then I mean, you just lose by points or you lose by a knockout. You eventually get tired.
I mean, really no bad pick on this fight.
It really isn't.
Yeah,
This
really
is
no
not a
pick on this
bad,
fight.
like, you can go either way. So
Yeah.
you going with
Yeah.
Taekwondo Han?
Yeah, I would have to agree with you guys. Go with Tucker.
Gavin Tucker for the underdog. All right. Moving on to this great co-main event. One I wouldn't expect to be, as good, but when you kind of get into the X's and O's, it's definitely an interesting fight. Misha Cirkunov, coming in at a minus 125 favorite versus Ryan Spann at a minus 105 or at a plus 105 underdog. An interesting fight. I would say Misha is the more well-rounded fighter just by the fact that he's a lot more farther ahead in his UFC career. He's also a BJJ black belt and has kind of fought just higher competition being in the UFC longer than Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann's kind of starting his run in the UFC, which is, but also still I would say still had been through adversity, coming up, especially coming up through the LFA and showing that he can keep up with a lot of these higher level competitions. But where I think that, going back to what we were talking about of Ryan Spann, he's a good fighter. I'm not quite sold on the hype train yet. I got to be honest. There's certain things I've seen him that I think he needs to work on. Good ground fighter, great ground skills. I believe 11 submission wins in his pro career. But Misha Cirkunov, BJJ black belt, 9 submission wins. Fought a much higher level competition. On top of it too, when it comes to grappling, and like I said, you'll see guys, they'll go to what they're comfortable with, but when you see them get uncomfortable, you see them struggle. Ryan Spann is one of those fighters of if he's not in the most comfortable positions, he's not the greatest. You can see him get uncomfortable. He's a bigger guy also at 205. I believe he's 6'5", I want to say, with the 74-inch reach. So there's a 2-inch reach advantage on this one. And where you kind of see him, especially a lot of his fights go, he tries to use that reach advantage to kind of back you up against the cage and then eventually kind of use that, like I said, cage wrestling to get the fight to the ground to eventually submit you. But for as big as he is and for, with that lighter frame and him being having that great range and being an athletic guy, he's not very fast. He's kind of slow at certain times. He's not the most explosive guy. He's not the quickest guy, but he's got a good build. He's got a good size. But I think Misha Cirkunov has been around long enough and has seen enough guys a Ryan Spann, fighting some taller, more even kind of guys who were probably faster than Ryan Spann with that same build. I'm gonna go with the guy who's a little more experienced on this one. I think Misha Cirkunov also on top of it too really has a lot more to prove. He's been on a little bit of I want to say a 3-fight losing streak. So when you see fighters kind of get into that after a losing streak, they kind of get into that more my job is on the line type of fights. You either see them make or break it, and I think Misha Cirkunov, he's been a fighter for a long time. He's fought some high level competition. I think he knows where he's at, especially ranking wise, and that he's fighting for his job. I think the added pressure is only going to help him. So I'm gonna go with the guy who's got a little more pressure on this one, a little more experience.
Yeah, man. Good points made, but in this one, I'm gonna always bet on black in a situation like this. So I'm gonna go with Spann on this one.
Going with the other tall dude.
Yep.
Taekwondo Han.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you on Misha.
Not betting on black.
I mean,
he's in the middle. I know. At least I can duck out the punch if he throws it. At least there's somewhere for me to go. You're right there.
He's gonna start off saying Black Lives Matter.
Right. So BLM.
I mean, guy with more experience and overall, Misha's seen a lot of the fighters and. If like you said, if his job's on the line, there's a lot more to throw out there than just hold back and just wait out the fight and just wait for points, wait for the guy to mess up. If his job's on the line, then he's gonna be out there and just get it done.
Like I said, I think Misha's good. I think he's a better fighter, period. But I think Spann's got a little edge to him right now.
A little more, momentum, a little more swagger in him.
A little more rolling
You gonna
forward right now. But I like Misha back in his heyday.
Back in his heyday. All right. All right, moving on. An exciting main event. One we didn't expect, one late notice, but one I am still excited for. Leon Rocky Edwards versus Bully Bilal Muhammad. Leon Edwards coming in at the -275 favorite. Bully Bilal Muhammad, you know, the +215 underdog. A very interesting fight. You know, I think a pretty good replacement, I would say, for Khamzat Chimaev, especially in terms of styles for Leon Edwards. Personally, with this one, this is a fight that could go either way, but is all going to depend on how much damage did Bilal Muhammad really take in his last fight versus Diego Lima's brother. Although he won that fight, and although he won that fight in dominant fashion, you know, especially utilizing his wrestlings, you know, utilizing his grinded out, you know, level changing type of style, he ate a decent amount of leg shots. He ate a decent amount of leg kicks, you know, and that takes, as we all know, like at the very least, and this is being generous, when you take some good ones, 2 to 3 weeks to recover. And that's just for you to start like moving and training on it
Start
again.
training
like,
again fully.
When you're getting calf kicked and at fight speed, no like, you know, no guards, no shin guards, no nothing. It's
no
just bone on
80%.
calf. Most people don't understand. That's a different type of pain. That's a different type of damage. That is not something you just recover from easily. You know, there's a reason the low calf kick has been so effective in, you know, MMA. And on top of it too, like, this is really, I think, a fight that kind of benefits, I would say, Leon Edwards' skill set. On top of it too, you know, he comes in as a southpaw striker, and can, you know, but stand switch and level change at the same time. And on top of it too, he's from the UK. We're currently, in my personal opinion, you know, just kind of due to the pandemic and economic reasons right now, the UK is the best Thai boxing probably in the world right now. I would say, especially with the amount of fighters and, you know, the level that it is out there, like it's incredible, especially with some of the guys that are coming out of there. You know, there's a reason. Like you look at the one championship, you look at where a lot of their, a lot of these, not like in country or in like, what's the perfect word, continent kind of fighters, you know, they get them all from England. They get a lot of there's a lot of, you know, it's just the Thai boxing is a different level. And on top of it too, Leon Edwards has been training full MMA since a decently young age. So it's not like, you know, he's a transitioning striker who just learned how to wrestle and all this stuff. Like, no, he's been training MMA since like 16. So he's aware, and especially too, with, you know, the competition he's faced in the UFC, having faced Usman, having faced some really good grapplers, Leon Edwards has developed some really good, I would say, defensive grappling skills. You know, takedown defense, cage get-ups, single leg get-ups, you know, knowing how to keep the fight standing and where he wants. And on top of it too, like one of the things that he's really good at, that where I think Bilal Muhammad is really going to struggle, is the fact that he's faster and that, you know, he strikes a lot on his get-outs. You see him in the clinch, you know, when he's like moving his way and he's moving at opponents, you know, being the taller fighter at 170, I believe he's 6'2", and so he kind of has that height advantage to kind of weigh on top of his opponents. You know, they'll try to level change, they'll try to muscle him out, and he knows exactly when to break off and hit him with that break off elbow. That's something he's very good at. And you'll see Bilal Muhammad, he's not the most like fluid striker, I would say. He's not the most explosive guy. He's strong. He's a good wrestler. He has great grappling skills. He's going to grind it out. He's going to win the decision all day. Bully Bilal Muhammad's not going to get tired in this fight. But where he may struggle, and where I think, you know, why I think Leon Edwards is going to win this fight, I think in terms of the range and the movement and where he's going to control the fight, I think Leon Edwards has that advantage. And on top of it too, he's got a snappy southpaw jab, and Bully Bilal Muhammad will eat those first kind of few strikes before he gets that level change, before he hits, before he counter strikes. He doesn't use a lot of movement. You know, he'll take your damage and throw one back. And Leon Edwards, with the skill set he has, I think, this is a perfect fight for him. I think he's going to win it. And I think he's going to win it a late round TKO or by decision.
Yeah, I had Leon Edwards when I first saw this matchup. I'm like,
damn near, like, what has it been, a whole year and a half he's been in fight camp?
I feel bad for that guy.
Oh man, when you've been through the stuff Leon Edwards has been through, when you have when you have multiple fights canceled, you miss out on a title shot, like, by the guy that gave you a 3-piece and a soda, like, and on top of it too, you're supposed to have this big, amazing fight, and your opponent gets COVID and drops out of the rankings. It's like, this guy can't catch a break.
Right.
So I think this is Leon Edwards' coming out party. I think this is when all the BS he's been through, honestly, as a fighter and the things he's been through, like, is going to be worth it. And I think Leon Edwards is going to have his coming out party and earn that title shot.
Yeah.
This guy's on a 9-fight win streak. Like, what does he have to do? Besides win this fight, what else does he have to do to give this man a title shot?
Yeah, he deserves his due praise after this one. He pulls this one off.
Taekwondo Han.
Yeah, Leon Edwards, he's been breathing MMA since he was 16, so, and he hasn't caught a break. He's just ready for it at this point. He's just ready to fight.
All right.
I think it's gonna be cool.
And that has been a great show, guys. Time to close it out. Like, I'm Adam Araby. You can find me on Instagram, adam.araby. Whoop.
I'm LaRon Wilson, a.k.a. LaRon the Icon. You can find me anywhere. Just Google me.
And then, you know, my guy.
Jason Han, go by Han. Han Dynasty.
The Mag Performance Instagram at?
MAQ_PI.
MAQ_PI for the Mag Performance team. And subscribe. Oh, also shout out Joey the Bull, who just got his surgery done. Down 30 pounds. Congrats to our good friend Joey. Let's give it up. We appreciate you and wish you the speediest recovery.